I'm Luke.
And I'm Emily.
And we're renovating our house.
Again. With our second baby on the way, we're already outgrowing this small 2-bedroom home.
We're making this project our own. We've done the plans and designs, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 decks, flyover roof, swimming pool, carport and a shed.
We're lifting this house into the air.
Which means we're diving into the fun part for me, choosing all the finishes, colours, the paint.
Emily's plans have come to life. We are on the home stretch and the finish line is in sight. It's time to make this house a home. Emily and I were able to build our dream home in Greenslopes on the south side of Brisbane as owner builders. Now, I'm not quite finished the certification process. I still need to do some silicone, get some locks on some windows, finish a termite plan and a couple of other bits and pieces. But we're 99% of the way in terms of our project being finished here in Greenslopes. And Emily got to see the project largely be finished before she passed away in December 2024. Now, to be perfectly honest, the dream of this house feels a little bit dead to me. Losing Emily and this project being our dream home collectively, and a lot of the design and floor plan and thoughts were done by Em. But I still want to recap for my own, own personal enjoyment in some way. And I didn't think this project would cost anywhere near as much as it ended up costing, because we did end up outsourcing, even though we were owner builders, almost all the work. With Emily going through cancer and us having 2 children in that time frame as well, we just wanted to get in the home. So we spent a lot of money, and that's exactly what this video is about today. I'm going to be breaking down for you the exact cost of what we paid our main builder, what we paid each of the key trades, and how much this added up to at the end of the day. I'll also take you through how I tracked the costs, and I originally was budgeting around $300,000 to $400,000 for the build, but that was when we were going to DIY pretty much all the painting, all the flooring, all the kitchen deck out. So it's ended up to be a lot more money than that, but I'll reveal that price to you later in the video. So let me take you into my Google spreadsheet and show you the invoicing mechanisms that I used and how I've come up with a way to kind of summarize this information to give you a total price on our dream build. Quickly, before I jump into the spreadsheet, I just wanted to give you a recap of what our house looked like and what it looks like now. So we bought a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home that is on 400 square meters here in Greenslopes on the south side of Brisbane. And so the plan was to lift the house, build in underneath, and turn it into a 5-bed, 3-bath, 2-car home, as well as a swimming pool and a shed for a gym. So there's a lot added on there. And if you haven't watched the entire renovation series to date, you can click a link somewhere. I'll put it in the description or comments down below, where you can go back and watch the renovation series, which will actually show you the work that was done over the last 2 years to get the property to where it sits today. So on screen, this gives you a little idea of how I was able to track trades in terms of what I've paid, when I paid it, and how much I paid. And so this is the way I structured it. You can do this so many different ways, but the way I structured it. So I had basically like a price listing or an invoice listing. And you can see here I listed the supplier, the date the invoice was paid, how much was paid, and then I even have like a cost code base code here, which allowed me to amalgamate different quotes and invoices because there were so many quotes and invoices flying around. So I could do a bit of data and analytics. Now you'll see we started the project in August 2023. And as I scroll down, it goes through to December 2023, February, March 2024, April, May 2024, all the way through till November 2024. And now we're sitting in June 2025. I've paid for a 6-month extension on the certification of the entire dwelling because, like I said earlier, there's bits and pieces that I need to sort out. We used a lot of parties and trades in that entire price list. And so I'm sure if you paused that and wrote it all out, you could see everything I spent on the deal. But let me draw you over to our pivot table, which summarizes all of these invoices into something that's meaningful to look at. So on the screen here, you can see a pivot table. And all this pivot table does is it summarizes that entire expense listing into a summarization by trade. So Mayo's were our main builder on this project, and we spent in the vicinity of $400,000. Now, I might have missed some invoices, to be perfectly honest, especially later in the piece with Em's cancer and the journey of going through the build. I didn't necessarily hit every single trade on the dot, This gives you a full list of all the trades that we used in the entire project. And you can see we spent $380,000 or $378,471 on our main builder. And that was for the framing of the home. That was for the sheeting of the home, the painting of the interior and the exterior, the balustrades, a lot of the carpentry work, all that type of work involved in actually constructing the bulk of the home, the flooring and the frames and things like that. Now remember, we've gone from 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom home with a fair bit of demolition involved in that too, to a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2-car home as well. We used the restumper. They cost about $95,000 all up for the concrete slab and lifting the house. So when people are asking me, oh, Luke, how much does it take to get into the air and a slab on the ground? I'm saying at least $100,000 in my opinion. Now, $40,000 for the swimming pool. That's not quite right because we also have crane hire in there. Probably costs more like $65,000 to $70,000 in total to get the 6x3 meter precast concrete pool in place. We also got some Titan sheds involved, so they did some concreting and the carport and the back shed, our electrician, our kitchen cabinet makers, the actual kitchen from IKEA, plumbing services, concrete for front steps and stairs, some maintenance and handyman work, sauna and ice bath, which I lost $4,000. That was just gone because Odin Ice Baths went bankrupt recently, so I just lost $4,000. Some retaining walls, some glass, and then heaps of odds and sods in there. So the sum of all those figures comes out to around $780,000. You can see this at the bottom here if I scroll down for you. There's your grand total of all the pivot table items. Now on top of that, there was pre-work that I had to do. And so that's not actually a reflection of all the costs. That was just the construction costs. There was fees, council fees, other pre-work, surveys, town planning. And so that added up to an additional $30,000, which takes us to around $810,000. And if you count invoices and things that might not have been tracked perfectly in that list, we can round up and say $850,000 in terms of the total project cost. Now that is a lot of money, $850K to raise a house, to build it underneath and turn it into our dream home. We didn't high spec everything either. It was very mid spec in terms of the quality of the renovations and the home. But it's certainly a fantastic end result and what we were looking to do from the initial outset of building the dream home. Now, to be perfectly honest, it's not really my dream anymore. Now that Emily's passed away, I actually have a bit of news that I'm going to be moving house soon. So I'm going to be renting out the Triple Gable Queenslander or the Growing Gables Queenslander, depending on which series you first saw here on YouTube, this property. And I'm hoping to get $1,200 to $1,500 a week. It is a massive house for the block. It is in a dead-end street. It's a great location. There's lots to like about the property, so it is going to be up on the rental market soon. And the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to simplify my life. You know, this is a big house. My boys, Asa and Eli, are 3 and 1. And yes, we spent a lot of money on this dream home, $850,000 roughly. And it is a beautiful house, and I love this studio space, and I love the gym and the pool and the carpentry work that Em and I picked out as some features in the home with the curved wall and the dowel timber around the stairs in the void and things like that. But to be perfectly honest, it's just a house. And Em's mum asked us to move a little bit closer to family, and so I'm going to be moving south into that Daisy Hill, Shayla Park, Cornubia area where I grew up. And it's not forever. I actually might move to the Gold Coast in a few years' time, or I might move into inner city Brisbane or somewhere else. And I may come back to this house. I may come back to the house in 5 years' time. But for me, downsizing and simplifying my life and moving to a basic 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom, single-level home when you've got 2 toddlers around is very important. And so those are my plans moving forward. And I will do a final video. It's been a long time coming to do a walkthrough video of this property. When it's up on the rental market, I'll get a videographer out here and I'll show you the photos of the finished product. And I'll show you what it used to look like and what it looks like now in detail. Because it's exciting to share projects like that and to show you the transformation, the cost involved. Now, I think if we'd outsourced from the get-go with a builder, it probably would have cost us around $1 to $1.1 million to sign a contract with a builder to get the product that we've got. And what I've worked out is that it's a lot more expensive doing a custom build when you're working with an old Queenslander. If we'd knocked down the home and gone to a builder, I think $600,000 to $500,000 would have got us a beautiful 5-bed, 3-bath, 2-car home and a gym and a swimming pool as well. But because we were working with a character home in the inner city here of Brisbane, there is more cost involved. There's more rework. There's more technicalities. There's not everything's plumb. And so that's why we probably landed a bit more expensive than we would have liked, around that $500,000 price point. Now, thankfully, the business has been tracking well. The property portfolio has been growing over time, and I've been able to access equity to increase the debt and pay for this project. And it's an absolute blessing to have spent time in this property. And I'm looking forward to the next few months until I move into a new home later in the year and simplify my life at that point in time. But this was a shared dream between Emily and I, and it's been a joy to share it with you guys here on the YouTube channel. I'll make sure I leave a link to the playlist here, so you can give that a click if you want to go back and watch the full renovation series. There's 2 renovation series. There's one of the original home, and then there's the Growing Gables series, which is our massive transformation, which I've broken down the pricing for you guys today. And to wrap that all up, if you're looking for a Brisbane buyer's agent, head over to purposeproperty.com.au, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.